Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Micah and Steve.
Hello, hello, hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
Of Live,
Let Thrive.
What's going on, Micah man?
I'm chilling. How you been, Stevie Stacks?
Getting over that, we were both sick last week, so getting over that and back at it,
Oh, yeah. So episode number 112, I think, right?
112 episodes. That's a bunch of episodes.
Man, so we have 112, and we got a special guest on from my favorite city, H-Town, Texas. We got Mr. TJ on. H is up. Yeah, man.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead.
Oh, yeah, can we say his full name? Because it's a cool name. It's TJ Tijani.
Johnny, yes, sir.
Yeah, TJ Tijani. He is the Airbnb guy in Houston. Everybody knows him. They.
Appreciate that, yeah.
Anytime you say Airbnb in Houston, they call TJ, man. So yeah, man, TJ. So tell us, how long you been in the Airbnb game and what got you started, man?
So yeah, definitely been investing since 2015. I graduated with an engineering degree, actually, from the University of Houston, engineering and mathematics. I worked in the for some time. Of course, Houston is the oil and gas capital, right? So dove into the oil and gas space. Started doing that, and I was traveling quite a bit. I was actually like at the face of the oil and gas economy. I was working offshore. I was working out of subsea installation vessels on the rigs. And so I was gone, probably about 60, 70% of the year. But whenever I was in town, I was investing. So I started off buying and holding. That was the first strategy that I started doing, and started acquiring some rental properties. I acquired 3 rental properties in 2015, and then I started getting into some wholesaling. So I started wholesaling quite a bit as well. And so then you guys might be aware of what happened in the oil and gas market in 2016, 15, going into 16, really, when it kind of took a dip. Everybody was happy and eating when oil was about $100 a barrel, right? And so then it dropped all the way down to like 42, something like that. And so, the major operators just wasn't drilling as much. So we just didn't have in my company, and we're an oil and gas service company. So we were providing the subsea equipment for the operators like Exxon and BP and Shell. So I was on the Exxon portfolio, and when my project was up, it was just like, man, there was just no more work. And so there was hardly any work. So I was kind of given a decision, kind of an ultimatum, to where I was to move to a different role and taking a significant, and when I say significant, I mean like half a pay cut, either that or take a severance. So I decided to just bet on myself, and I took the severance, and had other opportunities to go back into the workforce in the oil and gas space, but I decided to just kind of dive into the real estate space. And so I was actually one day just kind of doing some additional market research on generating more leads. Of course, y'all know how that goes. And so I came across the short-term rental route kind of on accident. It kind of fell in my lap, sort of. I wasn't really necessarily looking for it. And so then at the time, I had 2 projects I was remodeling. And so one of them I decided to furnish and try the short-term rental route on that property. And it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that I still have. It's still in our portfolio. And I was scared because it was a little bit overwhelming. It was a big property to furnish. And so, but I ended up doing it, and I didn't know if it was going to work or not. But the next day when I listed it, I woke up with 2 bookings. And I decided that, you know what, I think I can sink my teeth into the strategy. And so still was doing projects that I was doing some fix and flips, but the short-term rental route kind of became the primary. And so so I started growing the business. And so then I kind of started putting out what I was doing. And so then people wanted to know how I was doing, what I was doing, how I was building my systems. And so then that's kind of how I became kind of known in this space. So it's been a heck of a journey.
Man,
That's a lot to go over right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you had a 3-bed, 2-bath house. So are you arbitraging only, buying only? What's your strategy now in the short-term rental space?
So it's interesting because about 70% of my portfolio in my short-term rental space, I actually own these properties, and I rent 30% of them. Probably by the end of 2020, it'll probably be about 50-50. But yeah, I own most of them now at this point. That property that I alluded to earlier, my very first short-term rental was a 3-bed, 2-bath house, about 1,700 square feet. It was a big property, and it was a property I owned. I was going to put a traditional tenant in it. Then I decided to furnish it and make it a short-term rental. And I wasn't sure if it was going to work. The neighborhood wasn't the best neighborhood, but the proximity. I don't know if y'all know too much about Houston inside the 610 Loop, the Third Ward area. So that's where the property is. You know about the trade?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know about the trade.
The property is, man. And so the neighborhood is transitioning 100%. I mean, things are getting really expensive here. But I was worried about how rough it was. I mean, the proximity was amazing. I mean, the downtown is within 10 minutes. To the Med Center is within 15 minutes. But so I ended up taking a chance and ended up working out pretty well.
Man, so like you said, you got what you're doing it at a 70-30. You got 70% you own, 30% you arbitrage, but you're working it up to 50-50. Is that kind of where you want to keep it at 50-50?
Yeah. I want to keep it at 50-50. I want to keep it at 50-50 because I love the ownership aspect. Because the units I own, most of the units I own are small multifamilies, so mainly duplexes. And so I end up actually netting more of my duplexes because the numbers actually work out better, if that makes sense. So you can imagine, like, one of my duplexes, the mortgage is like $2,000 a month, right? But one of the units and this duplex is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Right, each unit's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. But one of my properties that I do a rental arbitrage on that I rent, it's a 1-bedroom, and the rent's $1,500 a month. So it ends up, and they're literally within 5 minutes away from each other. So it turns out that my duplexes end up netting me more because it's like 2 units, and so I like to keep it at 50-50 because I want to own at the end of the day. I'm going to push ownership at the end of the day. But, of course, we know that the rental arbitrage route allows us to scale the business rather quickly because it's a great way to earn cash flow without owning the property. So that's why I like to be at a good mix of both.
So you said you're 2-1, killing it. Like, what kind of – are you getting like more business clients coming into the 2-1s, or what do you think is driving that factor?
So it's really the location, right? This 2-1, it's really close to Midtown. But it's also literally within 10 minutes from MD Anderson, the medical center, which we know Houston, which one of the things we're greatly privy to here is having the #1 medical center in the nation. I would say a large part of my clientele base, my guest base for that unit are coming for medical reasons or some type of medical purpose. You know what I mean? And then that unit is also like 8 minutes from downtown. So we still get a lot of business travelers and a lot of large groups that come in and to just want to go to downtown or be in the city. But what I love about my duplexes is that I kind of created a niche within the short-term rental niche for myself, is because with the duplexes, it's 2 units, right? But I list it as 3 listings. I have 3 listings with it. So you can list unit A, you can rent unit A, you can rent unit B, or I have a 3rd listing where you can rent the entire building, where you can have both. So each unit sleeps 6, or you can rent the entire building and rent the whole thing that sleeps 12. So we get a lot of large groups or big groups of business travelers that end up renting the whole building. You know, when I rent the whole building, it goes for like $400, $450 a night. So it's pretty well.
Man, I just read an article and it mentioned Houston. Yeah. Mentioned DFW too. I sent the article to you, Micah, about how we keep getting an influx of people from out of state coming here to work and live, and it said Houston is number 4 most what's it called, fourth biggest metropolitan area in the country, behind LA, New York, and DFW area. Number 4, and it's gonna continue to grow. It's like the 2nd fastest growing behind the DFW Metroplex. So yeah, buying properties is pretty smart right now, man, over in Houston.
Absolutely. Especially when you buy right. You know, the way I like to buy my properties too, I like to buy them distressed. I like to rehab them actually, because I'm able to leverage a certain type of lender, like a hard money lender or my private lenders. I'm able to leverage them and really rehab the property to what I want it to be. And so then I leverage a hard money lender or a private lender, fix it up, refinance it, and it really allows me to come out of pocket at the minimum. And that's how I like to buy my properties. That there's good opportunity to do that.
So
yeah, I was going to ask real quick how you are able to accumulate so many properties so quickly, but you kind of answered that. You use hard money to do it.
Yeah, and this is actually one of the things I actually teach in my class too. I teach people how to buy real estate with their time, not so much their money. You know, there are two ways you can buy a rental property. You can buy it with your time, or you can buy it with your money. The very, very first rental property I bought back in 2015, for example, this house, I bought it for $90,000, didn't need any work. The owner lived in it for a while, then he replaced the roof, replaced the AC, replaced the floors, replaced the electrical. I mean, this thing was ready to go. $90,000. I had, you know, I was working as an engineer. My expenses were super low, so I was just saving a lot of money. And so I came to the table, 20% down, conventional loan, right? 20% down, came to the table at about $22,000, including closing costs to buy that property. I had that thing rented out within 2 weeks. My mortgage was about $850. I put it on a 15-year note, actually. My mortgage was about $850 a month. I was renting it for $1,300 a month. Within 2 weeks of buying it, that delta, that difference was my cash flow, right? So it didn't take me too much time to get it cash flowing, but it did take a hefty amount of down payment. Then we can look at another example. Even the first rental property that I bought that's on Airbnb, that property I bought for $90,000. It was uninhabitable. Matter of fact, it sat vacant for over 3 years. The owner lived in the Philippines. He didn't care about the property. He was asking $120 for it. We ended up negotiating down to $90,000. I put $70,000 into the remodel, but the after repair value ended up coming out to $245. So my private lender gave me 70% loan of value. So with that 70%, I was able to buy the property and do the rehab. And once the rehab was done, I did the refinance. But you can imagine, we had to order the appraisal, work with the private lender, order the appraisal, get that done, manage the rehab, hired a contractor. He ended up not doing a good job at some point in time. Let him go, brought in another contractor. The whole process took about 4 months, right? 4 months, then it was done. Then I refinanced it. Then I was able to furnish it and get a cash flow. So the two stark differences, right? The first one, I didn't need any work, came to the closing table with a whole lot of money, had a cash flow within 2 weeks. That I bought it with my money. The second example, that property, I was able to leverage a private lender, pay for the purchase and the rehab, refinanced it, $0 out of pocket. It didn't cost me anything out of my pocket to buy that property, but it did cost me my time to buy it. So I try to tell people and I try to show people how to buy real estate with their time, not so much their money. And if you can learn how to buy it with your time, because you can do it part-time. That's something you can do part-time. You can buy real estate with your time part-time. So I tell people how to do it with their time, and that way, you can come up with a good game plan and to really accumulate some wealth and some properties.
Man. I'd never met a hustler. I've met somebody from Houston that wasn't a hustler, man. Damn. Killing it. Man, so are all your Airbnbs and all your units, they're all in Houston?
They're all in Houston. Probably when I get to 25 in Houston, I'll branch out to my next city that I plan to. We'll see how it goes. My plan is to branch out to Atlanta. We'll go to Atlanta.
Man, it's like a little thing. Everybody I meet that does Airbnb, they do it between Atlanta and Houston.
Man, there's some good markets out here. I was looking at Philly. I was looking at Philly, Dallas, and Atlanta. Those are my top three.
Dang, you sound like you're following Sean Rakitic. Everybody hitting Philly.
I actually met Sean, man. Me and Sean actually connected once, man. This was earlier, man, when he had like 30 units. And we ended up meeting over here in Midtown here in Houston.
Really?
We chopped it up for some time. So, yeah, I know Sean.
Yeah, I met him in Dallas, actually, at one of his meetups. Yeah, I met him at Dallas in one of his meetups, man. And, yeah, because I was right when I met him. He was just going to Philly. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Philly." I was like, "Man, but Philly's Philly's the hot spot."
Yeah, out there. Yeah, Philly's good, man.
So
go ahead.
So why is Philly a hot spot?
Man, you know what? I don't know the full details, but from what I'm hearing, it's just becoming such a great tourist city. A lot of businesses. I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's just a great place to visit, a great place to live, and properties are still relatively affordable to invest there as well. So Philly was definitely one of those spots that I was looking at too.
Yeah, and the thing about Philly is I heard they ain't as strict on those Airbnb regulations like the rest of the East. So it's people up there killing it up in Philly.
Not yet.
Yeah, and plus I don't know, and also you got to check and see, make sure that if they already have laws in place,
exactly,
people have to just keep making money.
Exactly. Man.
But I hear they have high taxes over there. Is that true or not?
Man, I'm not sure.
I believe it.
I'm not sure that
it's the East Coast, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I won't be surprised. Y'all heard about what recently took place in Austin?
Oh yeah, what happened? The state came down and cracked.
Yeah. So essentially, well, Austin had because you understand, Austin is becoming like the tech hub of Texas, right? I mean, you got Facebook there, Apple there, Microsoft, Amazon's there. I mean, Austin's popping. So the part in Austin like that area close to downtown UT, that area is already getting expensive in rent. The rent's already shooting up there in Austin. And then the people are doing a lot of Airbnbs, taking advantage of the short-term rental space, making good money in Austin. So a lot of people are complaining, saying that it's causing a shortage because Austin's not that big a city. So they're feeling it more so in Austin. So it's causing a shortage. And so for the units that are available, rents were going up. So people started complaining. So then Austin put in a place to where a regulation for short-term rentals to where you can only do short-term rental to properties that are type 2 residentials. Type 2 meaning it has to be a 5-unit and above. So whether you own it or you rent it, it has to be a type 2 residential. Even if it's a house, single family, duplex, triplex, whatever, you can't do it. It has to be a type 2. So then people were like, yo, you can't tell us, like if I owned a house, you can't tell me exactly what to do with my house, right? So then the Supreme Court came down and told the city of Austin that you can't tell people what to do with their single-family homes. So they ended up having to lift that regulation. So kind of now Austin, as of recently, is now fair game. So
I have a few Airbnbs in Austin, but our problem is we're in Arlington, Texas, and they just banned it. Like they just flat out. Like with Jerry Jones. I don't know if it was Jerry Jones. I ain't gonna put it on him, but I'm pretty sure it was like. They just straight came out and said, hey, it's done January 31st. They already handed out fines. People going to court. Like some people ain't even renting their spot. They just have a listing up. They handing out fines to them. I think the fines start off at like $300. Steve may be able to tell you more about it. He already.
Oh, yeah.
So it's crazy, man. So, I need to figure out who hit up the Supreme Court about that so we can get them in Arlington, man.
Wow, that's crazy. I think it's interesting, though, because then – you see that happening in a city like Austin, you can only think about, okay, what else might come down in other cities that are having these strict rules. So we'll see what happens in the future.
Man, dude, that's crazy. So I checked out your website, Book Home Suites. That's dope. How are you taking direct bookings? Are you trying to move more towards that route?
I'm moving more direct, moving more. Actually, I don't even have all my listings up on the site yet. I really had to sign up for a credibility piece. So I don't even have all my listings up there, but I'm gonna upload all my listings on the site. I mean, right now, all my bookings are coming from Airbnb, Booking.com, HomeAway, VRBO. Those are the main 4 sites that we're on. And so right now for 2020, that's one of the goals because we're starting to network directly with a lot of the hospitals here in Houston, a lot of the businesses here in Houston. We're going to be working directly with them, letting them know who we are, what we do, how nice our units are. And so now we're going to be getting bookings here. So the website was there for a credibility piece to get it going, but now we're going to be taking full advantage of it. This is the time to do it, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really don't trust Airbnb. I think they're going to go up on fees towards.
They are. With them going public, it's almost like they don't have a chance. I mean, they have to appease the shareholders. They have to maintain their valuation, and they're going to maintain it no matter what at all costs. And if that means we're increasing the fees, they're going to increase the fees. So that's definitely the time.
So I have an important question. Is that turkey leg hut actually that good?
Hell yeah, it's that good.
So if you haven't had it yet, you definitely got to try it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm really happy for what those folks are doing, man, at Turkey Leg. And here's the thing. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Mainly, all my units are within 10 minutes from there. I have 5 units that are not even 5 minutes away from there. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm staying with you the next time I come. I'm cooking with TJ. Yes, sir.
There'll be guests that book, and they'll ask, hey, just want to make sure. It looks like it's pretty close to Turkey Leg Hut, but I just want to make sure that it's pretty close to Turkey Leg. Like, guests will ask, like, they'll hear for other things, but they want to be able to hit up Turkey Leg Hut.
Man, it's like the hottest restaurant in Houston right now, man.
It's definitely up there. I mean, you know, and the credit to them, they're doing great things, and the food is amazing, and they do a good job in that community too, because they're right there at the heart of Third Ward, and they're doing pretty good things, man. The food is amazing too, so yeah, they definitely deserve it.
I heard there was some neighbors getting pissed because it smelled like, I guess it's made the neighborhood smell too good or something.
Make the neighborhood smell too good. That's exactly what happened, man. It's man, I don't even know. We can go off at the deep end as to the crux of that issue.
White people didn't like it.
It's a whole.
We keep it 100 on this podcast. We keep it 100.
Well, let's just say our neighbors, our counterparts, our more lighter complexion counterparts. We're on a hating wave. Let's just put it like that. So, but they ended up, the whole thing ended up being dropped, and so I was really happy for that. It was a whole kind of campaign where everybody was just supporting the Turkey Leg Hut to get this lawsuit dropped, and ended up working out pretty well. So.
Yeah, I was sharing everything on my IG, man. So.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Keep it up, man, because I love Turkey Leg Hut.
That's crazy. It wasn't even just Houston. I mean, people from all different cities were, like, supporting Turkey Leg. It was crazy, man. It was dope to see, though.
Yeah, and it was crazy. Like, the people in Atlanta want one in their city. They was like, hey, we going to bring that to I was like, hey, man, they're asking for it in different cities.
Hey, they might, man. I mean, there are some rumors that they might. So I don't know if that's the case or not, but I wouldn't be surprised one bit.
Yeah, man. So, by the way, people out there, we don't get paid by the Turkey Leg Hut, but if you in Houston, go to the Turkey Leg Hut. Yeah. Seafood, turkey legs, drinks, kick it all night. I love it. Every time after we go to the club, we go to Turkey Leg Hut afterwards. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. So like, what's your Airbnbs like? Are you doing different themes or particular groups you're targeting? How are you going about it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's a 2-part question. So now all my units that I set up now are themed on some level. And I realize that my theme units are performing very well. Because at the end of the day, a few years ago, when Airbnb wasn't as big as it was, you could have just put any old couch or maybe just a mattress on the floor, and you probably would have still been pretty profitable on Airbnb because it was just still such a commodity. It was just kind of the thing to do still. But nowadays, things are changing. Guests expect more out of hosts. And also there's more direct competition now. As a whole, our real competition are hotels. Let's definitely not misunderstand that. But of course, there's direct competition. So people expect more, and you definitely want to make sure that you getting yours in your particular area. And that means you coming with it. That means you actually making your units nice. That means you find creative ways to identify yourself and stand out at these different listings and as people are looking. So definitely we're definitely theming things up. The last unit that we did like a music legend theme, right? So my decorator did a phenomenal job. Like there's a whole wall. It's like a music legend wall and it's all these black and white photos and like these gold frames, and guests come in there, they say, oh, that's the Beatles, oh, that's Ray Charles, and they try to guess who all the legends are. Some of them are like, in their current, how they look currently. Some of them are like pictures of them way back in the day. So you might not be able to really guess who they are, but they always try to guess, but it turned out looking great. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath unit. Every room, everything has a theme flowing through it. And that's actually a duplex unit. And in the upstairs unit, we're furnishing that unit right now. And that unit, we're going with like man, I don't know if I don't want people steal my ideas from my thing.
Oh, yeah, because they'll steal them, man. They'll steal them. They be like, hey, that dude don't live, let thrive.
See, you know what? Just know we got some themes units. We doing some
okay.
things.
Tell us about them when they already up.
I'll tell you when it's already up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a whole like a kind of like the way we did like the music legend. We're doing like a sports legend. So it's like every athlete that's ever graced like the Sports Illustrated cover. So we're doing like a whole Sports Illustrated thing. It's a whole thing. And you don't have to go too elaborate with your themes though. You know, some such a simple, you know, you could have like an animal theme if you know, I know even Sean talked about how they bought like this elephant piece and they just built off of that, you know, one of his units. They just did like a whole elephant theme, you know. And so just make sure it flows well and it's functional and it photographs very well. And and that's a good go. And you'll see that it does pretty well. I'll notice. And now I'm starting to hire a designer back, but probably my first few units, 5 units, I was designing everything myself. You know what I'm saying? I was picking everything out. Me and the wifey, we were picking everything out and designing everything. So, but we noticed that's why it's important to hire people who are good at what they do and let them do what they do, right? So we noticed that our designer, and we thought we were doing something. When our designer came in, did a way better job than we did. So it's working out pretty well. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's how it was. Me and my wife was doing the designing, man. Yeah, so I was like, man, we got to get a designer so we can streamline everything.
Yeah, exactly. Makes life a lot easier, too. My goodness.
So, like, what systems are you using to automate your business?
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, you have your field partners and then your technology partners, right? So, you know, I have an assistant, then, of course, your cleaning crew, which is the backbone of your business. Your cleaning crew. We have our linen service, our cleaning crew. I have a maintenance guy that's on retainer. And my maintenance guy, you know, anything that might happen, like anything that'll happen he's on call essentially. So my maintenance guy, then of course we have the technology partners. Like we're heavy on Smart BNB. We love Smart BNB. You know, we have our guidebook, you know, we use our website, which also does a calendar management as well, and we have we use PriceLabs for our revenue management, and so yeah, those are pretty much our technology partners, and we love Turnover as well. Turnover to manage our cleaning process, so we love Turnover. So yeah, essentially that's pretty much it.
I see you using your engineering skills to run your systems, right?
Yeah, you see, exactly. You know, it's crazy. When I went to University of Houston, I graduated from there with no student loans, by the way. I paid my way through college, and it's interesting because I look at it and I was like, dang, you got an engineering degree. You know, people are like, dang, you're not even using it anymore. People always say that to me a lot. You have a whole engineering degree, but it's crazy how certain things that you pick up still apply. You know what I mean? You know, certain things like that. So definitely.
Man, it's crazy. Every single person that I've seen that go from Airbnb, they all come from an engineering background, man.
For real?
Yeah, like I'm an engineer. My boy, Josh, Norman, all them engineers.
Oh, yeah, engineers. Crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, man.
You know Josh and Norman?
Yeah, for sure. Norman, for sure. Josh, I believe I met Josh. But yeah, Norman I know pretty well. Actually, we went to go look at a triplex that I was looking to purchase, and I hit up Norman. I told him, hey, just come check this property out with me, and he went to come check it out with me. It's actually on the same street as my other 2 duplexes are.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that was the one. He was like, hey, I'm looking at this. Yeah, he told me about it. Yeah. So, man, what y'all doing? Like all these multifamilies, man. Is the Houston market saturated? Right? Is it becoming saturated, or is it just open game right now?
And I'll keep it 100. I think there is a level of saturation depending on the area, especially like for 1 bedrooms. If your unit sleeps like 4, in these areas, I think there is some level of saturation. I mean, you have companies like Lyric, companies like Sonder, who has made a huge stake here in Houston. And I mean, people like just 2 years ago were killing it. And then as soon as kind of they came up and took a lot of the market share, that you'll notice that kind of decrease, which you know, it's in retrospect, you could say it's a bad thing, but you know, as an entrepreneur, you know, it kind of forces you to adapt. It forces you to get unique. It forces you to be creative. It forces you to step your game up. And for the ones who are doing it right, that are actually stepping their game up and staying on top of their business, you'll notice that it's still pretty profitable. You know what I mean? So, but I noticed that, like, if you have a nice unit that can sleep about 8 in these key areas, you still do very, very, very well, because that's kind of not the space that they're kind of in. There's an apartment complex right in Midtown here. I know Sonder has a 5-year lease on that entire building, and they have 1 and 2 bedroom units. So, and their units sleep anywhere between 4 to 6. So, but I have properties that I rent to arbitrage are literally within 5 minutes away from there, but my properties are still doing pretty well, just because, I mean, it kind of forced me to kind of get more creative and get more and fine tune my processes and fine tune my automation and things like that. So, you know, for the ones that are doing it right, that are staying on top of it and not looking at it as like a, you know, such this big loss or anything like that, you know, I believe that they're still being profitable. Like, there's an area, they have some properties like in the Galleria area. And even in the Galleria, it's tough in Houston because even though it's a huge business sector, it's a huge financial sector here in Houston, but there's a ton of hotels for one, and then there's a lot of competition there. So you still got to be smart in some level. Like, if you're going to be in the Galleria area, I would recommend your unit to sleep at least 6. I would recommend it to sleep 8 even. So you just kind of got to know the pockets that you should be in, that you shouldn't be in. And if you're going to be in it, how many people should you sleep? How many bedrooms should you have? How should you set up your units? And look at the ones that are doing pretty well. Look at their units. Let's see how they're set up. Look at their photos, things like that. You know, just being a student of the game, because I don't care how good you're doing or how well your systems are or how well your automation processes are. You got to be a student of the game no matter what, and keep learning and keep adapting. So I think there is a certain point of saturation on some level, but then I think later on it's going to get to a point of stabilization for those who, because there's probably going to be a lot of people that drop off, and for those who are actually staying in it and doing it right, they're still going to be getting a lot of bookings.
Man, so it sounds like, yeah, because Dallas kind of did the same thing. 1-bedroom studios, they got oversaturated. Yeah. Now people are like, okay, let's go to the outskirts and get bigger homes and put them on there. And they're exactly doing what you're doing. You know, you can sleep more. So is that what are you targeting, like the bigger homes? Do you have like multiple 3-bed, 2-baths, or you just not really?
So I have some 3-bed, 2-bath. Like, I'm remodeling a duplex right now. That's a 2-1 each unit, but I'm making it a 2-2. But it's actually pretty big. Each unit is almost 1,400 square feet. So each unit is actually going to sleep 8. So I'm gonna make it I'm adding a restroom to it. So each unit is going to be a 2-2 that sleeps 8. So one of the rooms are big. We're going to do 2 queens in one room, a king in the other room, and a pull-out sofa to sleep 8. So I'm kind of, if I see the opportunity, I'm letting my units sleep a little more. I'm looking at an apartment complex downtown on Monday, actually, that we've already talked to, and we've been in talks with them about our business plan. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and let us pick up a few units. We're going to start off with 2 or 3, and then we're going to go from there. And I'm going to get to pop it off, I'm going to get 2 2-bedroom units and 1 1-bedroom unit. It's in a very, very great area downtown. I mean, really, really good area downtown. So I'm looking to get, you know, if I can get a little bit, if I can get like a 2-bedroom to sleep a little more, I'm going to take advantage of that.
So real quick, there's no rumblings at all, like Houston's trying to restrict or ban Airbnb at all?
So there's no rumblings. No, not at all. You know, the city actually makes money on behalf of Airbnb. So I don't think they're trying to stop that bag anytime soon. And, you know, one thing you got to understand about Houston, the city is so big. You know, it's not like the way the rental rates were affected in Austin. you won't feel it. We don't feel it like that here in Houston, just because there's so much available, and their city is so big, and it just completely just keeps going out and out and out. And so we're not, people aren't complaining. So in Houston, it's not so much, will the city allow it? That's a given, yes. And they're not, and it seems like it's here to stay. It's more so like, will that area allow it? Will the HOA in that area allow it? Or are there deed restrictions in that neighborhood that won't allow it? So it's more so in that area. Like there was some units in East Downtown that we were looking to take down, some loft style, some apartment complexes. And we were pretty much about to sign these leases. And but then the board said that, no, we don't want that here. So that's more so what you got to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, were you all booked up when Kanye came to town and played at that church?
Oh man, I definitely was. And it's crazy because I was actually, man, that weekend was booked even before I found out that was happening. But if it wasn't booked, it definitely would have been. I mean, that was interesting, by the way. I ended up watching it. I didn't want to experience the chaos, but I have a lot of friends that went. And but I ended up watching it at home. So, but yeah, we're pretty booked even before I even found out about that.
Hold on, did you? So you've been doing it 2 years. Were you hosting just during Super Bowl?
No. I missed that window. I started. That was earlier 2017.
February 2017.
And so I started listing right at the tail end, like December going into January 2018 was when I started.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I missed that boat. But I believe it's coming, I think 2 more years or 2 or 3. So, oh, yeah.
It's coming back?
Oh, yeah. It's coming back to Houston.
It's 3 more years? Oh, I might need to go ahead and hop in, man.
I believe so. I'll need to do from what I know, I'm going to look into that. But I know it's coming back. Yeah. I know it's coming back. For sure. I think it's about 3 years or so, I believe. So, yeah, we're going to have to clean up. We're going to clean up nicely.
Oh, yeah, man. Because I was down there in the neighbor. I was at my cousin's house in North Houston, the neighbor. Mm-hmm. He was probably making he said he made like a few grand. I was like, dang. But I believe it, so.
Hey, when it came to Dallas or Arlington, we had like the harshest blizzard ever in the history. So it was pretty bad. Yeah. And it hasn't snowed since, so that's how bad luck Jerry Jones had.
Oh man!
Yeah, man.
But so you were in the oil and gas industry,
yeah,
and it's crazy because you said you started buying properties right away, and that's cool. And I was like, and it instantly reminded me, like I have cousins and friends that during that time when it was over $100 a barrel. They were making bank, man. They were making like they could just write their paychecks. And they had these they got, of course, a lot of them bought these big trucks and big toys and all this crap. And then, like you said, it just kind of crashed.
Oh yeah.
And so you did a smart thing. You were buying up properties at the time.
Yep.
Now, if another bubble happened or another, it shot up like crazy. Is there any way you could make money in that industry? Like maybe, providing housing to these guys because they're big ballers when it's up.
Oh, absolutely. And that's probably my number one way to do it is provide housing for business travelers, especially in the oil and gas space. And there are certain oil and gas kind of markets here in Houston that are heavy in oil, like areas that are heavy oil and gas. So that, yeah, I would take advantage of that fully 100% for sure.
Nice.
I mean, I serve a lot of business travelers now, though. Like I serve a lot of business travelers, and we tailor make our units to make sure, because at the end of the day, it's important that you have an avatar. Like you need to know exactly who you're serving. Like that's the question. And I noticed that when I tailor my units to who I'm serving, my reviews are nicer. My reviews are even better. Like for example, we serve a lot of people that travel for medical reasons. So people ask me, so one of the things I do is I put a television, a flat screen TV mounted on the wall in every single room that I have. If it's a living room or a bedroom, I put a TV in there. Do you have to have a TV in every room? And even in my 3 bedrooms, I'll put a TV in there. Have to have it. No, you don't have to. I know who I'm serving, right? I had somebody that checked out of my unit not too long ago. They stayed for 18 nights a young lady and her family came down, and she got a small procedure done on her brain to get a small tumor removed. But, you know, after they got the procedure done the day after they checked in. So after the procedure was done, they were recovering at my unit. And so you can imagine if somebody gets any type of procedure, whether it's a knee or whatever, they're not that mobile. When they're laying down and recovering in the bedroom, their mobility is quite limited, right? So it'll be a great thing if they can be entertained, right, with the cable and the Netflix while they're laying down, to be entertained while they can't move around so much. They really appreciate that. We do king beds. We do make sure our mattresses are quality mattress. So the review literally says, "Thank you so much for having such a great bed. It's super comfortable. It was a big bed. It had plenty of room for me and my mom to lay next to me, because she was a high risk of seizures. So her mom was able to, you know, lay next to her and watch her overnight as she slept. So things like that, you know, just kind of putting yourself in the guest shoes and knowing who you're serving, right? Our units that we know we attract a lot of business travel, make sure we put a desk in there, a workstation in there, right? So we put a printer in there. The printer hardly gets used, but there are such things as certain things that you just put in your units that even though it doesn't get used much, the gesture speaks a lot. And to me, the printer is one of those things. And so if we know we're serving business travelers, we put one in there. And it hardly gets used, but they highly appreciate it, and it helps the review. So having that avatar is very important.
Yeah, I used to have a printer in one of mine, and a lot of people start using it with their phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a help. Definitely a help. Definitely go to printers.
All right, another important question. Profile pic. Do you put your own picture on your profile pic?
Man, you know what's crazy? I experimented, and I'm kind of still experimenting now. I put my profile, a picture of me and the wifey at first, and, you know, I just wanted to see what it would do if I put my logo. I didn't notice much of a difference at all, honestly. But I'm actually considering going back, because when you think about the premise of Airbnb, it's like people connecting people. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, I don't want to seem too corporate-y. So with our systems and our automation, we're already kind of seem corporate-y a little bit. But if we can have a picture, I think the picture might do a little bit better. But then, you know what's interesting, and I'm just keeping 100 with y'all. I ended up using a profile picture of somebody else totally. A very, you know, young, pretty, you know, lady.
White girl.
Oh, yes. and I'm not going to lie. I feel like I noticed an uptick on that. You know what I mean? So there was a slight uptick on that. You know what I mean? So that's something that I experimented with as well before. But, I mean, kind of to each his own. I mean, I don't think it makes that big of a difference, but I think there are definitely some people who like to, if they're going to want to experience the city in a residential view and experience that city in a different way than experiencing a hotel, then I think kind of having your personal brand, when I talk about brand like you on there, could go a long way as well. So I'm actually looking to switch it back to the personal picture than the logo. So right now we have the logo. I've had the logo for like probably the last 7 months up there.
Yeah.
So here's one thing that I noticed when I used to have, you know, profile pic of me and the family before, you know, Hispanic family. And I noticed we got like mostly minority renters.
Ooh.
And when we did have that, and then I eventually changed it to my logo, you know, after I did it for a while. And then it was just a mix of whoever, you know. But I just thought that. Did you notice anything like that?
You know what's crazy? I wanna agree with that. I think it was still a mix, but when I think about it, it was definitely leaning towards minority. When it was just kind of me, and so I'm inclined to definitely agree with that. And then when I switched it to the logo, I mean, it's a mix now. Like, it's a pure mix now. I get all kind of people that book with me now, but we have the logo on there. So I'm definitely inclined to agree with that for sure.
And then when you switch it to the white girl, it's minority again. I mean. I just kidding.
Oh man, it got somewhat uncomfortable. I told my lady, I said, man, you might have to start managing this thing because it got because there were people that would like say things were like. I was like, yo, hey. so yeah, it can get a little uncomfortable. Yeah,
they didn't know they were being catfished.
Oh, exactly. Purest catfish situation.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, I did all three. I did me and the wife. Yeah, I did me and the wife. I did the logo. Then I still got the white girl up now, but like you can't really tell. She looks more Hispanic, but like man, it's crazy. Like people, I noticed all my West Coast listings. I get way more, like the San Diegos, the Vegases. I get way more. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's crazy. Like geography has a lot to do with it too. It was weird.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It definitely does. So. It definitely does.
Just put a picture of the turkey shack on there, and you get a lot of people. Turkey leg shack, yeah.
That's funny, man.
Now at that restaurant, because I see it on social media a lot. Is it a mix or is it mostly minorities that go there? Or is it a mix of people that go there?
I feel like it's mostly minorities, but
I've never seen.
It's all kind of people that go. It's all kind of people.
You never seen what?
I seen one white dude standing in line, man.
What'd you say?
When I was there, I literally seen one white dude standing in line. I was like, dang, but it was cool though because everybody's accepting, you know.
Hey, it's definitely mostly minorities, but you'll see. You know, last time I was there, I saw a few. I saw a few of my white folks there. But definitely most minority. I mean, for sure. But that's good though. I mean, you know, they got the minority support 100%. So it's good.
Definitely. But yeah, man, those profile pictures are a trip, man. That's a trip. Man. So you're trying to get up to 25 in Houston and then branch out, huh?
Yeah, I'm branching out after that. Yeah, I'm
25. Okay. That's a good number. Yeah, then you kind of compete with yourself at that point.
Exactly.
So what's your goal out of this? I mean, is your goal to get like 100 units, 1,000 units, or just to be financially independent, or what's the end game?
You know, that's a good question. I mean, you know, they say that every successful entrepreneur sells a business. So that's, you know, that may be something I'll be considering down the line when I get to, you know, a pretty high valuation point. I might consider building it up and then selling it, but still keeping my properties to where, you know, then they will have to be renting from me at that point, right? So,
nice.
You know, we'll see. I mean, I may not. I'm actually not sure, but you know, right now I'm just focused on scaling it. Focus on branching out. Focus on the educational piece because I'm having like, you know, my master classes are sold out every time I do it. They're going very, very well. My next one's coming up on March 21st. It's going to be a great master class.
When is that? I might have to come down.
Yeah. March 21st here in Houston. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be here in Houston, in the city. So, you know, it's going to be relatively, you know, close to the downtown area. So, yeah, definitely, man. March 21st. It's a Saturday. It's a one-day class.
Okay, shoot the link, and we'll put that in the show notes. So whoever want to come to his master class in Houston, because I'm going to sign up. March 21st, I'm signing up. I'll be there.
March 21st, man. It's going to be awesome, man. And you know.
You going to stream it too?
So last time, you know, I may stream it. I'm going to have like somebody to actually like a professional crew to help me with the stream this time. I held a shorter version because the one I'm doing is a one-day class. We're going for 8 hours diving into the business. You know what I mean? So, but I did a shorter version once and I tried to stream that one, but we had so many technical difficulties. And I literally I felt so bad. I gave back everybody that was streaming. I gave them their money back because we were having so many technical difficulties in between, even though they still got a great amount of the knowledge. But this time I think I'm gonna hire somebody to actually handle that and to stream it. So it's something that I'm highly, highly considering doing the streaming. I may actually do it. Don't do the streaming I'm going to be recording everything into different sections, and I'm going to make the recordings available for people as well to cache the recording for those who weren't able to make it. So at least one of those two will happen, or both. So we'll see.
I will be in the building. I'm coming to that.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good look. It's gonna be great. It's a Saturday, 8:30 to 4:30. It's a Saturday. The last one I did, we ended up going to like almost 6 o'clock. They didn't want to leave. They just wanted the more knowledge.
Damn.
I do it. I like that.
Yeah, but I would try to be respectful of people's time this time. So,
TJ, have you heard of the 4-Hour Work Week, or you read it?
I've heard of it. You know what's crazy? It's on my it's on my reading list for this year. That's my February read. Actually, it's one of my February reads. So I'm going to be reading that. I've heard of it, of course. I know it's a very popular read, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet, actually.
Have you? I guess the idea of it is if you set, it's all about systems. If you set your systems up right, you only have to work maybe about 4 hours a week, and your business is going to run itself. Right. Are you to the point where you're pulling away from your business more and more and setting up the systems where it does run itself?
Oh man, and absolutely. It's all about the systems, man. And I was in Jamaica in September. Systems were going to work. Team was doing this thing. And it's crazy because, me and my mentors, we have like our mastermind call on a weekly basis, sometimes twice a week. And there'll be certain people and they'll ask questions and different things like that. And a lot of times my mentor would always say, how to solve that? Get more units. I think it's interesting how easier the business actually gets in terms of running it by scaling it, getting more units, because it actually gets easier to run because now you can hire people, you can outsource more, you can hire people, you can remove yourself from certain tasks by having the income and the cash flow to do it. So definitely, I'm looking forward to my next hire, which is going to be like my official like boots to ground person. Like I kind of have that. I have somebody in my cleaning crew that does that, but I want to have somebody that's like their focus, the runner, the porter, that boots on the ground person. So I kind of have that now, but I'm definitely that's gonna be my next, and that's gonna free up a lot of time. So the systems are pretty tight. They're running pretty well, and they're able to run the business. And even if I'm out of town, the systems go to work. And so, but there are even certain things that I'm still looking forward to outsourcing. So when I get more units, I'm definitely going to be doing that.
Now, have you ever tried virtual assistants?
Yes, most definitely. And I think the toughest part about a VA is just the training them, right? Because you're going to have to go through a lot of frogs before you find the right one. But yeah, definitely. And that's one of the I have a VA now that's doing a great job, and they handle a lot of the management, especially like with the guests and managing things with the cleaning crew. So yeah, definitely.
Oh, nice.
Virtual from the Philippines.
Sweet. And so what would be your advice to somebody like looking for a virtual assistant to help run their business?
I would say be patient. I would say know your entire business and your systems. That way you can properly train them. And I think some people might, if you're not ready for that in terms of what you know and knowing how, like if you can't put it on a paper and present it to somebody who doesn't know anything and they can go out there and execute it like effectively, then you're not ready to hire a VA. Like you need to be able to get to that point before you hire one. That'll be my advice, because you'll save a lot of headaches and time running through VAs that way by having it down and being able to articulate it effectively and train them effectively on your systems.
Create an SOP.
Absolutely.
Standard operation and procedure.
Absolutely.
Engineering again, right?
Oh, man, go ahead.
And you do want to, like you keep saying, boots on the ground person. You do want to hire an assistant that's going to be there, to take care of everything.
Absolutely. Somebody that's there physically. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you just pull yourself totally out of the business then.
Absolutely. But I can only do that if I get more units.
There you go.
That's all that, bro.
Man. But yeah, go ahead.
Because I was going to go to Houston actually last week. It kind of fell through because our little one was sick and we couldn't fly over there. But we was going to go for the same day passport thing. And these people were hitting me up. I put on there the Houston Airbnb Facebook group, and I say, hey, I need a spot for one day. Anybody got a deal, whatever. And man, these people there's thousands of Airbnbs, man. Especially if you just needed like a 1-bedroom, or like you said, like you were saying earlier, you got to distinguish yourself. You got to have like a 3-bedroom or something big. Yeah. But these things were nice and for cheap, man. I was like, how the hell are they doing this? But the thing is, for renting something for one night in Houston, it was like, okay, you can get it for $60 or $70 or $90, and get a real freaking badass place. But it's gonna be an Airbnb fee. There's gonna be a city fee. There's gonna be a tax. There's gonna be this and that. After said and done, that $60 place is $200 and something for one night. And the hotels, if you rent a $60 hotel, you're going to be paying like $65. I don't know how they pay less in taxes or whatever. But so that's the only thing I saw, that there's so many Airbnbs right now of the 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom in Houston, and they're freaking nice. I mean, they're decking these things out.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. And and I think the key thing to realize and know is that when you look at the experience that you're providing, though, it's totally different from like a hotel, right? So you're providing a whole different experience. Like even the 2-bedroom that I have, that it's really, really close to the University of Houston, really close by there. And there's a family that booked it, a Sleep 6. There was a family that booked it, and they were like, hey, we're just happy that we found your place, because we would have had to get 2 hotel rooms to accommodate us. So because they had like them with the kids and all that. So I mean, I definitely agree with you, and I think it's just important. That's why it's even more so important that you provide a unique space, that you provide a nice space, that your reviews are on point, and that people find paying those extra fees worthwhile than to staying in a hotel, because they know that they're going to get at the end of the day a better experience at your unit than staying at a hotel. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely.
So one more thing. Could you give us a TJ tip, a TJ, something that's original to you that can really help someone out a lot? Like, I don't know, something different, something that you don't hear all the time in all these thousands of podcasts that are out there, stuff like that.
I would say this, and I'm going to go, okay, so first of all, get the fastest internet possible in your area. Whatever is the fastest internet that unit can provide, get it. Get the fastest internet, and do a speed test on your phone, or if you have a laptop, do a speed test. Take a screenshot of your speed test, especially if you can get at least like 80 megabits per second. Then do a speed test, screenshot it, and add it as part of your photo reels in your photos. That's a little hack, because what it does is understand that there are all different kind of people that book through Airbnb. A large group of those are millennials like us, and people that care about Wi-Fi. Really, everybody cares about Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is super, super crucial. But if they can see how fast your Wi-Fi is before booking, that'll give you an edge. You know what I mean? So that's just a little tip from me to y'all. Y'all know that already. But do a speed test. If you know you got good Wi-Fi, do a speed test and add it to your photos. Add it to your photos, and watch people will book it just because they can see that you have fast Wi-Fi.
Yo, I didn't think of that one. That's a good one. I'm adding that one to the tip.
Just a tip. Oh, man.
Especially business travelers, too, because they're coming with their laptops. They say, oh, dude, we got super fast Wi-Fi, and the place is dope. Oh, yeah, I'm booking.
Oh, yeah. That's a smart idea, man. That's a good.
I've had people ask that before, how fast my Wi-Fi was and stuff. I was like, I don't freaking know. But now I know it is crucial to some people, because some people be in town, they got to do some work and stuff like that.
It's all work. Absolutely.
They got to do some cam work or something.
Yep.
Definitely. But yeah, TJ, man, thank you for coming on. You really done taught me a lot, man. I like your systems you got going. You growing, man, and you're flipping. You done been flipping houses. You done wholesale them. Airbnb host, man. He's an all-around hustler. I love it.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. I love what y'all doing. Keep up the great work. You know what I'm saying? Keep up the great work, and definitely know that you guys got my support 100%, man. However I can add value to y'all, just let me know. For real.
Sir. And ask us however we can add value to you. We got you, man. We definitely putting your master course on here, so
I appreciate it.
Might have some LLT listeners there.
Sure. I'm gonna shoot it to you for sure.
Okay.
So where can folks find you, man?
Man, definitely heavy on Instagram. I'm literally just created apparently my real estate partners here said that I'm sleep on TikTok. So I don't know if that's something that you advertise that you own, but I just made that. But definitely heavy on Instagram at TJ Tijani, at TJ Tijani on IG. So I'm heavy on there. Facebook, TJ Tijani on Facebook as well. The website for the bookings is bookhomesuites.com. Like I said, I'm gonna completely update that site, but so stay tuned for that. But you can definitely still go on there and still check out some of my units. So definitely, and gonna be putting. I'll definitely send y'all the info for the masterclass as well. So the masterclass is March 21st here in Houston. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I will be
cool.
there.
We'll go, and then we'll hit up Turkey Leg Shack for
Let's
real.
Get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. We can make it happen.
Definitely, I'm gonna be in that thing. Coming down. I love H-Town.
Man, let's get it.
But yeah, man, thank you for coming on. Ladies, are you ready to get your health and fitness game together? Be sure to follow Mahogany Artists on IG for all your fitness and nutritional needs. Be sure to follow us on IG, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate y'all for the love. Thanks for being listeners. And thanks, TJ, for coming on to the show. We are out. Peace.
Appreciate y'all.
Salute. Later.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.